to be living a really good life if you're making, more than $500,000 a year. And for me, the financial freedom is you're making twice that amount from passive income. So you're putting your assets to work in a way where you may have some involvement. You might have to look over things on a regular basis, but you're not actively having to work and spend your time going somewhere and being under somebody else's thumb to make that money. And
Hmm.
so, for me, if I'm generating, and I'll just speak to my personal situation because I think that'll give people context. So I need $600,000 a year in income to live the life that I want to lead, and make the contributions that I want to make. And so
Hmm.
with that, I would need 1.2 million each year in income, from passive income for me to qualify that as wealthy. And again, that number's going to be very different for everybody, but at a
Is there an
modest
amount of
interest rate.
XRP that you need, like you're
Well, so I'm going
allocating?
to work back to that.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you've got, I think you'll be able to earn somewhere between 8 and 12% fairly easily on your XRP. We already have strategies that we're putting it to work and should be
Hmm.
generating even beyond that with the partners that we have. But conservatively, I think 10% a year is pretty reasonable, especially with where interest rates are. So I would need about $12 million put to work earning 10% a year to reach my financial freedom or wealth number.
Hmm.
And so whatever you think XRP is going to go to, let's say it's going to go to $1,000 a piece. You would need, 12,000 XRP at $1,000 a piece to have $12 million to be able to put
Hmm.
that to work and earn that type of interest and lead that lifestyle.
So what
So
if you didn't have, like, what if, the average person on our channel is like, wow, that's like so much. I could never have that. If you if you lower it down to like an average person,
mhm.
what would you say that they may need to be able to have like life-changing wealth or be able to really have a good lifestyle?
Yeah, I mean, if you're living in middle America, we're here in Texas. The cost of living
Hmm.
here is fairly low in comparison to the rest of the nation. But if you're out in Colorado, or Arkansas or Oklahoma, you might be able to live really well on $300,000 a year, right?
Hmm.
So for my deal there, it would only be like 6,000 XRP, right?
Right. That's
And
good.
obviously the price is up now in comparison to where it was back in 2023, and so it's a little bit harder
Yeah.
to
To
obtain
get,
that
yeah.
much XRP.
Hmm.
But to be in the top 10% of holders, you need 3,300 XRP, right? So a little
Yeah.
over close to $8,000 invested in XRP today. And over the long term, like imagine buying Bitcoin at $2.
Yeah.
That's what
Oh
I
my
think you have for
gosh.
the opportunity here with XRP. I
Right.
think you're going to see six digits at some point over the next 5 years, if it is implemented at scale for the global derivatives market and some of the other use cases that I know it will
Hmm.
be. Then it's a waiting game in reality, and
Right.
you're going to have to be patient if weren't able to accumulate during the bear market like a lot of people were, and maybe you're a little bit late to the game, and that's okay. You still have the opportunity now.
Hmm.
Not financial advice, I have to say that. So no
Yes, of
financial
course.
advice, only for entertainment and educational purposes only.
That's
Always
right.
speak with your financial advisor before making any investment decisions. And if you want one that knows about crypto, you can work with us, Digital Wealth Partners. We have an SEC registered RIA, and they can tell you to buy XRP, but I can't.
That's right. Let's keep in our lane, Jake.
Yeah.
No, that's good. So thank you for that, because that kind of gives us just an idea of people dollar cost averaging to continue to keep doing it, especially on the dips. Don't whine. David says, dips are for buying, not for crying. So
That's
I
a
know he
great
didn't coin
mantra.
that phrase, but but he says it anyway. So what do you think, Jake, is happening in the markets right now? Because it's just all over the place now with Trump's announcement, and then he has another one coming tonight, and then another conference, the summit on Friday.
Yeah,
Like,
Friday.
what are your thoughts on that?
I
Where are we
think,
going? What's happening?
yeah, I mean, we've had all the lawsuits dropped except for the Ripple case at this point,
Hmm.
right? So Trump's been in, about a month and a half, like something like 40, 45 days here. And the first 100 days are supposed to be the biggest changes. He wasn't going to waste any time doing things. And so now that Gary's been removed from the SEC day one, we've seen
Yay.
them walk back all of the cases pretty
Hmm.
much except for Ripple, that they were doing regulation by enforcement. And so we also saw the removal of the broker rule this morning. I don't know if you caught that or not, but
I
they
haven't.
were going to
I
make
Yeah.
liquidity pools required to register as a broker dealer. and now they've walked that back.
Jake Claver talks about the recent XRP headlines while declaring an important announcement to every XRP holder out there. XRP is making waves after a legal victory against the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Business leader and consultant Jake Claver sheds light on XRP's potential for exponential growth in the future. Let's dive into the details surrounding this intriguing development. Welcome back to Investocracy Crypto.
If you look at the stock accounts that are currently the highest value for individuals, it's people that are dead. So they've just sat it there. There was no beneficiaries attached, and it continues up into the right over the long term. The personal emotion is what causes most people to lose money in a market. And you're not ever going to pick the top, and you're not ever going to pick the bottom.
That's right.
You might get lucky every once in a while, and there may be people out there on the TA that call it, that's not me, that's not my game. And for most people, I would say, 99% of traders lose money. There are very few people that actually control markets and move liquidity and have groups of people, especially in crypto, that are in the meme coin market that can actually move liquidity in, and you're going to get rugged, So the best bet here is just stay steady, believe in the long-term utility of whatever you're investing in, whether it's a company or a digital asset, and kind of set and forget, and just think about, 5-10 years from now, I'll be able to park this somewhere, earn that interest, and then live the life that I want to, no longer having to work that 9 to 5.
Yeah, I think that's a really wise way to look at it, because I think we get emotional and we watch it daily and it's, oh no, it's up, it's down, and people pop in, they pop out, and it's just they lose the perspective of the big game. And I think maybe depending on your age too, it makes a difference. But for the long run, I know David's mom's invested, and she's a senior, she's retired. I have a good friend that's a senior, retired, and they're just like, you know what, we're just going to wait and see what happens. They're not being emotional, because I think that's where you get wrecked. And I think that, just slow and steady, and quit using, it's not a slot machine. It's not Vegas. And if you're using it as Vegas, you're going to lose 100% every time. So
it's the people that hold over the long term, dollar cost average, that has been the most, irrespective of, whatever investment it is, whether that's stocks or digital assets or even real estate. If you're able to accumulate over the long term, and the dollar is depreciating, which we're all aware of at this point, assets are going to continue to grow in value in opposition to that. And you're setting yourself up for success.
With global financial infrastructure adoption on the rise, XRP finds itself at a pivotal point, poised to revolutionize cross-border payments and financial transactions. Project Ion and other groundbreaking initiatives highlight XRP's utility beyond traditional systems like SWIFT, hinting at a significant surge in demand and valuation.
When crypto starts to pump, something else has to go down. And
liquidity is coming from somewhere.
Exactly. Explain that a little bit, just for people to understand, because I think people just think, Trump is like, great, we love Trump, obviously, but I think that everyone thinks that he's, going to save the whole world, and I think that people don't realize that, that there's still volatility, and that the dollar's not in a really great spot, and he's trying to save the whole system the best he can. Explain a little bit what your perspective is on that.
Yeah, so I'm a student of global macroeconomics. I watch, 40 plus people on a regular basis, and that's what allows me to put together, my view on what's happening globally and how to position our clients in the best manner to mitigate risk and also see the upside. Like I said, the liquidity's got to come from somewhere. So we saw the ETFs, as an example, launched for Bitcoin. Well, that was a bunch of traditional money that moved into accounts where people allocated that to the ETF, and the ETF has to buy the BTC, which is a spot ETF. So they have to actually accumulate Bitcoin as a representation of value for whatever they're trading, the derivative. So that money flowed into Bitcoin. And we saw.
Where did it come from, Jake? Where do you think it came from? Just their bank account sitting there, or was it stocks? Or
yes. So these wealth managers, they have clients that wanted exposure to this asset class, and once they had a product to be able to offer them, you can buy that in your 401k, you can buy it in your IRA, you can buy it in your non-qualified account if you're trading stocks with a broker. So all of the institutions And now we've got pension funds, we have sovereign wealth funds, we have state treasuries and other large corporations that are taking a piece of their balance sheet and buying some Bitcoin to hold it on there
Mhm.
as a hedge or an investment, however they're looking at it. So that's where that money's coming from. It's coming from traditional places where it was allocated somewhere else, and they're using
Mhm.
a small piece of that and moving it into this market. And we really haven't seen much liquidity move in yet. Like I know that there's a lot of volatility here, and the asset
Mhm.
class is worth $3 trillion, but
Right.
the stock market, just kind of for perception here, is $600 trillion. So it's 200 times larger than the crypto
Mhm.
market. And all of that, all of those assets, the FX market, all of these other markets are going to end up being tokenized and moved onto these networks. So crypto will literally eat the world. So the total market cap of crypto eventually will be quadrillions of dollars.
Mhm.
And if you're here now while it's 3 trillion, you're probably in for some
Imagine.
pretty significant upside.
The narrative doesn't end there. Institutional interest in XRP ETFs and the resolution of Ripple's legal battle signal a bright future for this digital asset. As renowned analyst Zach Rector projects XRP's price range to soar, it becomes evident that the tides are turning in favor of XRP's growth potential. Could a financial crisis catapult XRP into the realm of four-digit valuations? But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
You were talking about Bitcoin ETFs, and I know, there's been some applications for
Yep.
XRP ETFs, but I
17.
wanted, yeah, pardon me?
17.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that many already. Okay. When do you think it might go through? Once the lawsuit's settled? Do you think they're
I,
waiting for that?
I think so. And I think the reason behind that, so the SEC has to approve the S1s, which are the
Mm,
form that people file as an application for their ETF to be able to offer to their clients.
okay.
They've recognized a bunch of those, which means they have like 45 days to either deny or approve those ETFs. And that clock started back in February. April 1st is kind of the deadline for them to make those decisions. So here in March, it's very likely that we are going to see at some point either the
Mm,
denial of those if they don't drop the lawsuit, or
right.
like I mentioned earlier, it's literally the last enforcement case that the SEC has at this point. They had almost 30 or 40 open cases that they have just settled or they have dismissed at this point, and we're
Mm.
down to the last one here. It's pretty much the biggest one in crypto. So I
Yeah.
think that, yeah, here on the short term time horizon, maybe even the next 30 days, we would see a dismissal or settlement of that case, and then almost immediately after S1's approved and those ETFs go live.
And then XRP is gonna rip.
The amount of liquidity that will move into, well, and so here's the other piece of that. You might think that they would approve some and not others, but we
Mm,
didn't see that with the Bitcoin or the Ethereum ETFs. When they approved one, they approved them all in
all
order
of
to not
them.
show
Yeah.
favoritism. So if they just
Right.
approve BlackRock, they kind of have a monopoly, right? And so I think once you see BlackRock throw their hat in the ring, you're immediately going to get the approval for all, I think 18 or 19 ETFs that'll be filed at that point, and we'll see
Nice.
mountains of liquidity from the traditional sector move into XRP.
With forecasts predicting substantial price appreciation, now might be the perfect moment to explore the possibilities that XRP presents in the evolving landscape of digital finance. But what do you think? Share your thoughts. And finally, if you would like to know more about cryptocurrencies or specifically Bitcoin, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.